Well, there we go again. From the town of Pisac in the sacred valley of Cusco, we are going towards Puno on the Lake Titicaca. Abra la Raya, 4,335 meters, on the way to Puno. Down here in the southern hemisphere, below the equator, it is winter right now, and usually in the Andes, in the mountains, it's an absolutely fantastic weather, beautiful blue sky, and just the ride was awesome. During my previous trip to Titicaca Lake in May 2021, I was told that in July, August, in the peak of winter, in the coldest season, the lake usually takes on an absolutely blue color. There's cloudless sky and the lake just looks absolutely fantastic. So I hope you're enjoying the view as much as I did. And probably one of the most beautiful places to view nature's beauty there on the lake at this time is Amantani Island, which is quite attractive for lots of tourists because of ceremonial sites, and it's just a very pretty place. So that's where we went. There are 10 communities on the island that make tourism possible because you literally live with the families when you arrive on the island. That makes it a very special cultural experience. The island is crowned by two pretty tall mountains, about 4,100 meters of elevation. One of them is called Pachamama and the other one is Pachatata, which is Father and Mother Earth. They've got both ceremonial sites on top of them, so a lot of people come and do different ceremonies there, and once a year there are even shamans do some major ceremonial procedure. But aside from sacred ceremonies and sites, it's just an incredible experience when you live together in a community pretty far removed from the other I can't say civilization, but from big cities. But here you almost get thrown back a few hundred years because you see how simply people live. You eat the food that the family prepares, you live in the house in the same conditions that they live. This is one room that I was living in my previous visit to Amantani. It's funny because I constantly had to watch my nose not hitting the doorpost because that's where my nose landed all the time. The doors are very small. But it's a beautiful surrounding. It's extremely peaceful, very, very, very quiet. And you can hear my heavy breath there. I'm just walking down the path. All the paths and all the passageways on the island are pretty steep and rather narrow. And literally half the paths that I've been going from one place to another were no wider than this path that you see in front of you now. Thankfully, I was smart enough not to bring my gigantic motorcycle with me on the boat, and I was seriously considering that possibility, thinking that maybe I'll be able to ride on the island. It will be so cool. But when I got there and I saw those small motorcycles going on 30-40 degree incline passes, and I realized it was a good idea. But I really feel for the local people here and how strong they really are, because just spending about 2 days there, my knees were killing me after walking for a while up and down on those steep passages and paths to different sites. So these are very strong people, and it was an honor to live among them that short time that I was there. The island dwellers mostly live off tourism and a bit of agriculture. There's not much animal stock. there's not much for the animals to eat, so there are very, very few, maybe a few cows and 1 or 2 horses only from livestock. But it's a difficult life out there. The layered landscape below in the video that you see, these are lots of land that belong to different families, and majority of them grow various crops of potatoes. So as you can see, there's not much grazing areas for the animals, which is why there are no animals. Yeah, majority of it is food growing land. Well, prayers have been said on both the ceremonial mountains to all the saints for borders opened and continual travel. Hopefully prayers worked. And of course the best interesting experience was visiting local bar. Part of the visit to Amantani Island was passing through the Uros Islands, the floating islands on Lake Titicaca. Again, there was a very interesting excursion explaining how the islands are built with Totora plant. As you can see, the brown is the root, which when the rainy seasons come, it gets detached from the bottom of the lake, and these gigantic swaths of Totora starts floating on the lake where it is found, cut into pieces with large saws and brought together, where later on the island like this is formed, and the top of the Totora plant is used for the flooring of the island, and the island exists like this, and the whole community is living on these floating islands. And of course the medallion from the Great Lake of Baikal in Russia was dunked into the waters of the Great Lake Titicaca in Peru. And so it was, the trip to Amantani Island on the Lake Titicaca. See you soon for part 2. Bye.